Hi, Today we'll be discussing about the nervous system. Now, this nervous system is one of the most important systems in our body. As such, all the systems in our body they are most important because without the existence of one single system, one single organ, we cannot survive. But the nervous system is the most important system because it is actually controlling the functioning of our body. So I said that it's the most important system in our body. Now this is how the nerves in our body they look like, or this is the position, this is the location of the nerves in our body. There are multiple nerves, actually 12 cranial nerves and 31 peripheral nerves. They are in our body which are connected to various parts, various organs, various tissues in our body. And obviously all of them they send signals to the brain. This is just an overview of our nervous system or how the nerves, the position, the location of the nerves. Now, I already mentioned that the nervous system is the most important system in our body because you can compare it with the central processing unit of the computer. So you can call it as a central processing unit, CPU of our body. It controls the body mechanism, it controls the body functions, it controls the body metabolism, and at the same time, it's a coordinating organ. Control and coordination, these are the two most important functions of our nervous system. I'll give you a simple example of what do you mean by control and coordination. Say when we are walking, when our right foot goes in front, the left arm swings. So there is a coordination between the right feet and the left arm. So this coordination is brought up by the nervous system. When we are resting, our heart rate is quite low. We get up and start running. The heart rate goes on increasing. So there is a coordination between the demand of blood by our body because of running and the supply of blood which is given by the heart. So this coordination and control is done by the nervous system. And of course, controlling all the body functions, all the bodily processes, it's quite a complex thing. And for that purpose, the nervous system, we can divide it into three different parts. Now, do remember that this is for our understanding that we are dividing our nervous system into different parts. As such, the nervous system works as a single unit. But to make the understanding a bit easier, we can have three divisions of the nervous system. The first one is the most important, the central nervous system, in short, the CNS. Then it's the peripheral nervous system or the PNS. And the third is the autonomic nervous system or the ANS. Now, this central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord, they are the part of the central nervous system. The brain and the spinal cord, it comes under the central nervous system. The peripheral nervous system, the previous slide we saw the nerves in our body. So they are the peripheral nerves or the nervous system which connects to the body organs. So from the brain or from the spinal cord, there are some nerves which come out and they go to each and every organ and tissue. So these nerves, they come under the peripheral nervous system. Or this peripheral nervous system is the connection between the organs, between the body parts and the central nervous system. And then the third part is the autonomic nervous system. This autonomic nervous system, you might have heard two different types, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. So this sympathetic system and the parasympathetic nervous system, they are the parts, they are the components of the autonomic nervous system. In short, I can say that the sympathetic nervous system is a stimulating nervous system to our body, and the parasympathetic nervous system is the calming down system of our body. Again, for a simple example, heart is increased. It is the sympathetic nervous system which is stimulating it. And when the parasympathetic system is working, the heart rate will slow down. So when there is a perfect balance between this sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, all the autonomic functions or all the automatic functions in our body will go on smooth. So this autonomic nervous system, it basically controls the automatic functions which are not under our control. Say for example, heart rate is controlled by the autonomic system. For example, the function of kidneys. For example, the function of digestion. It's all automatic. We can't control it, so it is controlled by the autonomic nervous system. And then this nervous system, the components, if we say there are nerve cells, then there are two different types of nerves. One is a sensory nerve and one is a motor nerve. And then there is involvement of brain and the organ. So in short, precisely, we'll not go in details of that. We will go to more of a bit yogic applications, some of the yogic applications which are related with this nervous system. So moving on further, additionally, what are the functions of the nervous system? In short, so as I already mentioned, controlling everything in our body. It controls everything. It controls the voluntary and involuntary functions. It controls the body movements. You're moving your hands and legs. It's controlled by the nervous system. It controls your respiration. It controls your circulation. It controls the water balance in your body. It even controls your temperature. And the most important thing, the most important function of the nervous system is to receive and respond. Our nervous system receives a stimulus from the environment, from the outside, and it responds to the stimulus. It first understands the stimulus and then it responds to the stimulus. So, receiving and responding is the most important function of the nervous system. A simple example, a pin, a sharp pin, it pricks your finger, and then immediately you remove your finger from that pin. So, it receives the stimulus, oh, it's painful, and then you respond to it. So, that receiving is done by the sensory nerves and responding. Of course, the decision, understanding, perceiving is done by the brain, but what to respond, it is carried out through the motor nerve. So if you remember the sensory and the motor nerve I mentioned, so sensory is gives signals to the brain. The brain perceives it, understands it, and then responds back through the motor nerves. And then, of course, nervous system, human nervous system especially, it has some higher mental functions like memory, receptivity, creativity, perception, thinking, understanding. All these, they are also the functions of the nervous system. We call them as higher mental functions, which are seen more in human beings. They are seen less in other animals. But then they are a part, they are a function of the nervous system. This is the cross section of the brain. So the main parts, what you can see here maybe is the cerebrum. Of course, the cerebrum has two hemispheres or two halves, the right and the left. And then or you can call it as the big brain, the cerebrum. Then there is another part which is called as cerebellum, which is called as the smaller brain, which is related with the coordination and balancing mechanism of our body. And then there is midbrain, there is pons, that is medulla oblongata, and of course the spinal cord running in between through the vertebral column. So cerebrum, cerebellum, then the pons, the medulla. You forgot about the midbrain. There is something which is called as midbrain, and then down below is the spinal cord. These are in short, the parts of our nervous system. And one thing definitely I think you all know is that the brain is divided into two halves, the right half and the left half, or the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. And then surprisingly, the left half of our brain, it controls the right side of our body. And the right half or the right hemisphere of our brain controls the left side of our body. So it's crossover. Even though these are two halves, these are two hemispheres, still they're connected with each other. The left side of the brain and the right side of the brain, they are both connected with each other. It's not that they are totally separate. There are connections, nerve connections between the left and the right. So there is always a give and take between the right and the left side. Now, cerebrum is the largest part of our brain. As I already mentioned, is divided into two hemispheres. So it's the largest part of our brain, and the main function of the cerebrum is actually to receive, the perceive, and react to the stimulus. It's the commanding center. It is the one which gives commands to our body organs, to our body tissues, to our body parts. And also the higher mental functions like intellect, memory, willpower, imagination, understanding, all these, they are they are the functions of the cerebrum. And this main part of the brain, we can call it as a big boss. This big boss, it controls the other parts of the nervous system. Like the cerebrum will control the cerebellum, the cerebrum will control the spinal cord, the cerebrum will also have a control over the peripheral nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. Now, controlling all the body parts is such a huge function, such a big function, such a big task. So, the cerebrum is also divided into smaller areas which are called as centers. So, you have a memory center, you have a center which controls your speech, you have a center which controls your vision, you have a center which controls your taste, you have a center which controls the movement of your hands. So of course, there will be center for controlling your right hand. There will be a center to control your left hand. So there are hundreds and thousands of centers in our cerebrum which are assigned one single function. So that particular part of the brain is specialized in only one function. So that one function can be control of your hand, that one function can be control of your eyes, that one function can be understanding taste. So there are hundreds and thousands of centers in our cerebrum. And always there are a couple of them. Means there is one center in the left side and one center in the right side. Now one very important thing, that even though these centers, they are individual, they are independent, still they are connected with each other so that they can give and take information. So for example, your vision center is connected with your hearing center, or your vision center is connected with your memory center. A simple understanding. So when you see something, you remember. Like for example, you are looking at something red color. The eyes, they catch up the color wavelengths. But the eyes cannot understand what is this color. So immediately the eyes center or the vision center will communicate with the memory center. And the memory center says, oh yes, in childhood, my teacher, my mother, she told me that this is red color. So immediately you say, oh, this is red color. So actually this data is being fed in your cerebrum. So in childhood, you are taught this is red color, this is yellow color, this is green color. So whenever you look at that color, immediately the vision center is connected with your memory center, and the memory center says, oh, this is this particular color In childhood, you have been taught this. So there are numerous connections in our cerebrum. Now, one important thing, the nerve cells, they cannot regenerate themselves. Nerve cells are the only cells in our body which cannot regenerate. They are dead. They are dead. But then the connections between these centers they can increase, and this increase can be even after birth. These connection channels, these communication channels between different centers, they grow fast, they increase rapidly within first 5 years of our life. So after birth, the first 5 years they are very critical for improvement of this communication, of this connection within different centers in our brain. Now, as I said, there are different centers. Some of the centers they are dormant, and some of the centers they are active. Dormant means they are sleeping. They are there. They are not dead, but they are not functioning to their optimum capacity. Simple example, can every one of us sing? Yes, why not? Every one of us can sing. But maybe that singing is not appreciated by everyone. Why? Because we have a singing center, but that singing center is maybe dormant, is not fully functional. So you can actually activate these dormant centers in our brain. And there are two ways of activating these centers. One is vibrations and second is electrical impulses. So the significance of vibrations, significance of Omkar chanting, significance of mantra chanting comes here because it can actually activate various dormant centers in our brain. So in yogic practices, we give significance, we give importance to this mantra chanting, to the practice of Omkar chanting, to activate the various centers in our brain. Moving further, one interesting thing, the significance of yogic practices, if you have to have a simple example, there is one thing which is called as cross extension reflex. If you remember, I mentioned that there are two hemispheres, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere, and both of them they are communicated with each other. And the left side of the brain controls the right side of our body, and vice versa. So basically, when you are working, simple example, this is just a theoretical thing which is there in front of you. I'll give you a simple example. If you stand on one leg, say for example, if you stand on your right leg, when you're standing on your right leg, you lift up your left leg and you're standing on your right leg. When you're standing on your right leg, when your right leg is on the ground, the left side of the brain is maximum functional and the right side of the brain, the function is a bit less as far as controlling the movements of your legs is concerned. Okay, so you're standing on the right leg, the left brain is working a bit more, and the right brain is working a bit less. Now, immediately, what you do is you put your left foot down, you stand on your left foot, and you lift up your right foot. So, now what is happening? When your left foot is on the floor, the right side of the brain is functional, more functional, and the left side of the brain is a bit less functional. So, it's like a mirror image functioning of your brain. When your left foot is on the floor, the right is more functional. And when your right foot is on the floor, the left brain is more functional. Now, this in medical terms, we call it as cross extension reflex. A simple application of this cross extension reflex is in the practice of yogic postures, which are done on both the sides. So we have many yogic postures which are done from both the sides, left side and right side. Commonest example is the half spinal twist, Ardha Matsyendrasana. You twist towards your left and then you twist towards your right. So the same effect as we gave the example of standing on one foot, same effect, cross extension reflex. Another example is say maybe triangle pose. You do the triangle pose on the left side and then again you do it on the right side. There are many more examples. You can go through many more examples. So when you are doing the asana position on both the sides, the cross extension reflex is stimulated, is activated, and it helps in balancing your left and right brain. Of course, the brain is also related with emotions. So balancing your emotions can be achieved with the practice of yogic postures which are done on both the sides. So that's the significance of yoga practice to be done on both the sides, or the asana which are done on both the sides. That can be the advantage of doing them. Balancing of your brain, balancing of your left and right hemisphere. That's the advantage. Now, one more advantage of practicing yogic postures is telencephalization. A big word, but then the explanation is quite simple. If you focus on certain function in your body, especially an involuntary function in your body, if you focus on it over a period of time, after some time, maybe years, you can get a control, a voluntary control over that function. That's the meaning of telencephalization. So, yogasan, what is the difference between yogasan and exercise? One of the difference is focus. Once you are in the final position of the yogasana, you should be steady, you should be comfortable, at the same time, you should be focused. And if you focus on a certain function in your body, certain anatomical part of your body, certain physiological function of your body, you can get control over that involuntary function. And that's possible by focusing in a yogic posture. You might have heard yogis having control over their breathing, having control over their sleep, having control over their thirst, having control over their hunger. It's a process of telencephalization. It is possible for a common man like you and me. It will help in improving, it will help in a better control of the involuntary organs of our body. So, a better functional capacity, a better control of the organs in our body can be achieved by focusing in a yogic posture. Of course, different yogic postures for different functions, for different parts, for different anatomical areas of our body. So that is telencephalization. This is just what I was saying, that you can activate the brain, or I mentioned you can activate the brain centers. So by using of focus, by using of vibrations, and the other thing is electrical impulses. Focus and vibrations, they can maximize the functional capacity of our brain. Moving on to cerebellum, quickly we will try to understand the function. Cerebellum is the small brain situated, it's just below the big brain, the cerebrum. And the main function of cerebellum is coordination of body movements. The example which I gave, walking, say right foot and left arm coordinating amongst themselves. That's the function of the cerebellum. And another important thing is it helps in balancing the body. The physical balance of the body is maintained by the cerebellum. So when we are doing, for example, the headstand, the most important role obviously is cerebellum. Any balancing asana, or for that even standing is also balancing, even sitting is also balancing. So that is balanced by the cerebellum. So it is also one of the most important functions, coordination and balancing of the. Now the cerebellum, it receives signals from our body parts for the balancing mechanism. So in short, we will try to understand how we balance in an asana. So there is something in our ear. It's a small bony structure, very small bony structure which is inside the ear, which helps you balance the body. It's called as the vestibular sense. There are two parts of it, the semicircle canal and the utricle. So it's for the rotatory acceleration and the linear acceleration. So whenever you are in rotation, sometimes in childhood you might have experienced that. You're on that merry-go-round. You might have been playing, if you remember, on that merry-go-round. It goes on rotating, and then you are sitting on that merry-go-round, and then after sometimes you feel dizzy. And that's because of this rotatory acceleration. So this semicircular canal and the utricle, they coordinate with the eye movements and they help to adjust the body posture. So the balancing in asanas is with the help of your ear and with the coordination of the movements. So balancing, when it comes to balancing, there are three things. One is proprioception in the muscles. I will explain it a bit more later on. But one is proprioception in the muscles. Next is eyes. And the third is the utricle or the ear part. So whenever you want to balance your body, you need to get signals from these three different parts. And then as you improve, as you progress in your yogic practices, it is expected that you close your eyes and minimize the signals coming from the outside world. Focus within the body and balance yourself. So for a learner, for a beginner, you can keep your eyes open. You can practice with your eyes open. But if you want to advance, if you want to deepen your practice of yogic postures, at some point you should be able to close your eyes in the final position and maintain the position. Of course, steady and comfortable. And then these all three, they help you to give you a sense of your orientation in this space. Sense of orientation means you know yourselves. Where is your hand? Where are your legs? Where is your head? If you're bending down or if your head is down and legs are up. In a headstand, you know that, right? You understand that your legs are high up and your head is down. So that is sense of orientation in the space. Of course, it is dependent on gravity. So sometimes this sense of orientation is lost in the astronauts, which are going in that zero gravity part. So gravity stimulates, no doubt about it. Now, this vision, as I was talking about it earlier, I mentioned, it's important for coming in and out of postures to check the proper alignment, no doubt about it. Your eyes can check, they can actually ideally see Where are your joints? Where are your hands? Where are your legs? How is your position? And then they can help in alignment. But then, after taking a position, when you close your eyes in the advanced practice, as I mentioned, when you close your eyes, the vestibular apparatus, the small bones in your ear, they help in this balance. So the internal sensations, internalization of your sense is what is to be achieved in yoga practice. So that is recommended that you close your eyes so that the vestibular apparatus from within you get the signals for balance. And the other most important thing is proprioception, the awareness of your body parts, focusing on your body parts so that your body gets the three-dimensional orientation in the space. Now, what is this proprioception? It is actually the signals which are coming from within the body. Each and every joint, each and every muscle, each and every tissue is giving signals to your brain about its orientation, about its position in the space. For example, if you close your eyes and ask yourselves, where is my right hand? Can you answer yourselves? Yes, your brain knows where is your right hand, where is your left leg, where is your um right leg, whether you are sitting erect or you're bending, how is the position of the neck. Even with closed eyes, you're getting these sensations, you're getting these signals, and they are called as proprioception. With closed eyes, you can get an orientation of your body in the space. Same thing with a blind man, a blind person. The blind person cannot see but has the orientation of his body in the space. So even a blind man can practice yoga because he has the orientation. Now, in advanced practices, what it is expected is with closed eyes, you focus on these internal sensations which are coming from within the body parts. And when you focus on them, you start internalizing yourself, which is one of the major important aspects in yoga practice. So, advanced practice is not just doing any difficult asana. Advanced practice is to improve your proprioception. Of course, I am talking from an anatomical point of view. There are other points which will be discussed by other people. But what I am talking of is from an anatomical point of view. In the end, I'll just make a comment on use of mirrors. Like many times we practice yoga postures in front of mirror, and in the mirror we see and adjust our position. I will not say that it's a wrong thing. It is okay. We can practice in front of a mirror, but then throughout your life you should not be dependent on the mirror for adjusting your body, for adjusting your position, for aligning your position. Some point should come, one day should come that you should be comfortable without a mirror, close your eyes, internalize and focus on the sensations coming from within your body and align yourselves, adjust yourselves in the body. That's actually true alignment. So it's all, of course, related with the nervous system and then with daily practice. It's not that on day one you'll be doing that, but with daily practice that is practically possible. Now, here we try to cover the nervous system in short, but the more importance was given to the application, like how yoga postures. We talked only about how they would be beneficial for your nervous system in particular, and obviously in general to the body also, how the yogic postures will be helpful. So I hope you have got an idea about the significance of yogic practices in relation with the nervous system. So